MTN.
Good afternoon, Ghana. It's 12 o'clock. Time to reach for mobile water. Mobile water, unique in every way.
Hashtag stop Galamsey now.
Flo, I will speak to him directly. President John Dramani Mahama. Yellow blood do.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Is live on Joy 99.7 FM, Hits 103.9 FM in Accra. Also live on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com and affiliates in all 16 regions of Ghana, including Space FM Takwa, Pulong in Funsi, Ridge FM Tamale, KTU Radio in Koforidua, and Freedom FM in Sugakope. Also live on X Spaces, Facebook and YouTube. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol, Platinum Energy, energizing dreams this afternoon. Tomato traders now rationing supplies and engaging in selective sales as the shortage triggered by last week's terrorist attack in Burkina Faso begins to affect households and food vendors' ability to prepare quality meals for their families and customers.
Even if say unye customer utobi on wa udu okra ma obi ma okra because un tobi on hunti ebi ne hunti ma just say wa utobi na kwanza na ma okakra bi.
Well, we are the markets where some consumers are unable to afford the soaring prices are abandoning fresh tomatoes altogether.
Was it 35?
Asked for a reduction from 35 cedis to at least 25 cedis, but she refused, and I can't buy it because it's too expensive. So I'm leaving without the tomatoes.
The last 30,
Well, we take a closer look at Ghana's tomato sector, where nearly 100% of fresh tomato imports used to meet domestic demand are sourced from Burkina Faso. Also, this afternoon, power crisis in parts of Accra and Kumasi leaves residents and business owners left grappling with mounting challenges as they call for urgent intervention to sustain their livelihoods.
The electricity keeps flickering.
Our meat and then chicken got spots and all that, and it really costs us.
In sports,
Prosper Nate Ogum signs 2-year deal as Ghana's under-17 head coach ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations.
Also coming up. Sounds accompanying the assault of a student at a zonal athletics competition in the central region. We understand 3 persons have been arrested. We have details coming up shortly. Also, Ghana Health Service concerned over rising cases of cerebrospinal meningitis in northern Ghana, with more than 12 persons killed so far. These and more with me, Maame Esi Nyamekye Thompson. This is Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. Please stay. Let's get into the details now. Tomato traders across major markets in Ghana now rationing stock and engaging in selective sales following last week's deadly attack on Ghanaian traders in Burkina Faso, which left 8 of them killed. The supply disruption is forcing households and food vendors to compete for limited quantities, with many consumers leaving the markets empty-handed. The traders say the uncertainty surrounding cross-border transport has disrupted their regular supply chains, compelling them to prioritize long-standing customers and reduce quantities sold per buyer in order to stretch the limited stock available. Consumers, particularly food vendors, warn the situation is already affecting their operations. We take you to the eateries shortly. First to the markets. Hannah Adame is on this beat.
The high cost of tomato on the market has led to lengthier negotiations between sellers and traders. The traders have this explanation.
Tomatoes so nkrofo no mo kodwa na ya kwashi omo ekunkum omo no enti obi ani obekwa akofa bia ba enti na no buade no enti say president no mo sole no mo kana sondwe ba ho sondwe wo bush pa ti we say if Abidjan ba enti ne bo.
The high cost of tomato on the market has led to lengthier negotiations between sellers and traders. The traders have this explanation.
Tomatoes So nkrofo no mu kodwa na yakɔhye omo ekunkum omo no.
There is abundance of tomatoes in Burkina Faso, but the traders are scared to go there now due to the killing incident. We therefore plead with the president to resolve this issue immediately, as this will help reduce the current tomato prices.
They also plead with the consumers to understand their plight.
She is pleading with consumers to understand them when they mention the prices.
Consumers like Joseph Ansah, who was touched by the explanation of the traders, bought the tomatoes without much plea.
It's very difficult because when you see the quantum that they gave it to me as a 50 cedis, it's very hard. But how am I going to do? It's the situation, so I have to manage it like that.
But Auntie Lizzie unfortunately wasn't successful with her negotiation and had to leave without taking off tomatoes on her market list.
Was it 35? The same 25. Was 25
Asked for a reduction from 35 cedis to at least 25 cedis, but she refused, and I can't buy it because it's too expensive, so I'm leaving without the tomatoes.
Some sellers who cannot afford the new price hike have opted out of the tomato business for now, hoping to return to it when the situation normalizes.
I have been selling tomatoes since I was young, but I have stopped now due to the current price hike. When the situation normalizes, I'll go back to the tomato trading business.
For those who still want to travel to purchase tomatoes beyond the shores of the country, they ask for protection.
Na Burkina na se kwantintin na ye kono etuo betimi atwa anase beba fam a anka ye ni beje ye bekọ kwan so a ka bia e kwa ya ma no escort bs 5.
He is suggesting that some police officers are allowed to travel with them when they are going outside the country to purchase the tomatoes.
For Joy News, I am Hannah Odame.
Well, let me take you to the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. Rabna Kwe is joining us from there. She's been to some eateries. Rabna, tell us what the situation is like in Kumasi. Unfortunately, we don't have Irabna now, but my colleague Gemma Pia was at an eatery in Kokomlimli here in Accra and says the food vendors are feeling the impact.
Auntie Jane is a popular food joint here at Kokomlimli, and tomato is one of the major ingredients that she uses in preparing her dishes. So from stew to soup and all the other meals here, she uses tomatoes. So following the concerns that there's shortage of tomatoes on the markets because of the attack in Burkina Faso, I'm here to have a conversation with Auntie Jane to find out from her whether she's experiencing that when she goes to the market and how that is affecting the prices of her food.
There are no tomatoes on the market. You suffer a lot before you can get some on the market. If you are not a regular customer of a tomato seller, she will not give you some. You have to be her customer before she can consider and give you.
How much do you buy it for?
First,
I used to buy 200 cedis worth of tomatoes, and it could last me for 2 days. But I bought 300 cedis yesterday, and that was very little that I used on Monday. I didn't even add tin tomatoes. I haven't increased the prices of my food. I don't want to lose my customers. We knew that this would happen, but we have to keep our customers. So if we need to adjust certain things, we will do.
Well, Chairman of the Ghana National Tomato Traders and Transporters Association, Eric Nana, said to FOR, explained the circumstances to me on News Desk a while ago.
The price of tomato automatically will go high due to the tragedy that happened last week, Saturday. All the women nationwide are supposed to go and bring the tomato from Burkina Faso to Ghana. But see what happened to them. So they are all afraid. The traders are afraid. Tomato drivers are afraid. Even everyone in the business is afraid of going to Burkina Faso. Even The loading boys who normally assist us to go and load the crate full of tomato into the vehicle, yesterday decided not going because of the incident that happened last week. That is what we are witnessing now, that tomato prices have gone up. We are putting things in place so that today very few cars will move. Probably by Thursday, they will be in their market centers to sell the tomato to Ghanaian consumers.
Well, let's go back to Kumasi. Rabna Akwe now joins me. Rabna, what can you report?
Okay, so this morning, speaking to some traders, we can tell that the tragedy that happened in Burkina has really scared them, and now they are scared to go back to Burkina Faso to import tomatoes. I am currently here at a chop bar called a CNPA chop bar, and we know importing tomatoes does not affect only the tomato traders or importers. It is affecting people who use tomatoes to cook as well. And we know that tomato is a major ingredient used in cooking in Ghana. So I'm currently here and I'll speak to the owner of the chop bar who has already mentioned that previously she used to buy about 800 Ghana cedis for her food. And now she's buying close to 2,000 cedis. Madam Edewa, Patrona says what's on 800? They say also 2,000. Wow, who is the
last week in the family acquired any of the and I'm sorry. You never plan it.
So here there, Rabna Akwe engaging a trader or a food vendor there in Kumasi. Well, data on Ghana's tomato imports is not encouraging, as nearly 100% of fresh tomato imports used to meet domestic demand as sourced from Burkina Faso. Anthony Menu with Joy News Research Desk in the studio with me to break this down. Anthony, let's hear you.
Yes, per the data that we've actually been studying, currently the national demand for tomatoes here in Ghana stands around 1.3 million metric tons, and then we are able to meet just 500,000 metric tons of this demand, leaving a remaining 800 metric tons to be covered through imports. The imports are actually grouped into two. We have fresh tomatoes and then we have processed tomatoes, which includes tomato paste, tomato juice, and among others. And the majority of the imported tomatoes fall within the processed group, which is about between 100,000 to 200,000 metric tons on average annually for fresh tomatoes. We only import 12,000 metric tons on average for fresh tomatoes.
Right. So what makes Burkina Faso such a major player in Ghana's imports?
Burkina Faso actually comes in on the fresh tomato importation side. And as we have already established, the country imports on average 12,000 metric tons of tomatoes, which to complement what we are actually unable to produce here in the country. And almost these imports comes from Burkina Faso. That is 99.6%. For instance, in 2024, Ghana imported 22.3 million worth of fresh tomatoes, which was around 12,900 metric tons. Out of this, 22.2 million came from Burkina Faso alone, which actually represent the 99.6% that I actually mentioned earlier.
Thank you. Anthony Menu is with Joy News Research. Now, Bismarck Owusu-Nortey is the Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana and joins us on the line with more. Bismarck, why are we not able to produce enough to feed ourselves?
Yes, thank you very much for having me. I think the issues of we not being able to produce enough are multifaceted. One, we know as a country, we rely on one season rainfall. So there are short periods where we go into a lot of production. And during that period, we have a lot of gaps in the system because we do not even have adequate storage facilities. Then we have a long period of dryness where we do not do any type of farming. So within that period, you see that our traders will have to go to Burkina and of course other countries to go and bring these tomatoes to the country. Secondly, we do not have the right varieties or seeds. And even those that are available, they are quite expensive for the average farmer to purchase. We also know the issues of storage, where in the period of glut, where we have so many tomatoes, we do not have adequate systems where we can store them in cold stores, where during the lean seasons we can now try and push. Also, because we do not have any workable tomato processing factories, where we can be able to create a system where there are a lot of farmers who are producing all year round to feed those particular industry. So the incentive to go to do an all year farming of tomatoes is very limited. The constraints are still visible for the farmer to go into full-time production. So that's where we are as a country. And it's unfortunate that over years of investment in a lot of value chains, including tomatoes, we are still not being able to be self-sufficient in the production of that crop.
Thank you very much. Besmako Usunote is Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. We'll definitely delve deeper into this conversation in subsequent bulletins. Away from tomato, a wave of power crisis has hit parts of Accra in the last few days, leaving business owners and residents facing serious challenges. The situation, which began recently, has left power consumers searching for answers, as some businesses have already started feeling the impact. Parts of Achimota, Trantra Hills and Mile 7 have been heavily affected by this worrying development. Fatal Bayaga reports.
Rahina Tahiru manages a washing bay in the central part of Trantra Hills in Accra. The business had been running smoothly until recently. Her business has now been plunged into difficulty due to frequent power fluctuations.
3 days,
3 days ago, the power went off here. And whenever that happens, we are unable to work. The workers also need money to buy food. The electricity keeps flickering.
For many residents, the power situation is unusual, as the area has over the years enjoyed relatively stable electricity supply. Areas including Mile 7, Achimota, Tentra Hills and surrounding communities are all affected.
When I realized the power was flickering, I decided to switch off my fridge and TV set. But the items in the fridge had already spoiled.
When you come to the house, we store a lot of goods in the fridge and all that. So for 3 days now, our meat and then chicken got spoiled and all that, and it really costs us.
We use lights to do everything, and when the power goes off, no one comes here again, and it has slowed down our business.
They are therefore calling for urgent intervention to help keep their businesses afloat.
I want them to work on it for us. They should work on it for us because it is affecting our business.
I want them to do something quick about it because we depend on this, and if they slow down, we have nowhere, and we, the employee, we have nowhere to go.
For small business owners like Rahina and Prince, stable power is not just a convenience, but the lifeline for their livelihoods. As they wait for a solution, many hope the challenges will be addressed quickly before the impact on businesses becomes even more severe. For Joy News, Fatal Bayaga, Tantra Hills, Accra.
While in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, residents and local businesses describe the impact as severe.
It is affecting me a lot. As you can see, I'm sitting outside. There are a lot of work needs to be done this morning. A lot of applications needs to be filled. Clients are waiting to get the application. I don't know, they should give us a timetable, whether we are back to, doomsaw or what. So if there's a doomsaw, they should come out and tell us there's a doomsaw, and then they give us a roadmap or timetable.
The light system is going on throughout the weeks, the daytime and in the evening time, both house and the business. But I can't know the reason. But we are always getting assurance from the government and the electricity that they are operating and restoring the power back. But up to now, how the system is going, we can't understand.
In fact, the power outage is really affecting my business very negatively.
Well, the Energy Ministry says to respond to these issues later on. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a break, return with sports, and also Sounds accompanying the assault of a student at a zonal athletics competition in the central region. We understand 3 persons have been arrested. We have details of that coming up shortly. And also the Ghana Health Service concerned over rising cases of cerebrospinal meningitis in the northern Ghana, with more than 12 persons killed so far. Welcome back to the Midday News. Mubarak is here with sports.
Maame Esi, the Ghana FA has announced a 2-year deal with under-17 head coach Prosper Nate Ogum ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations. The FA says the decision aims to give both the coach and the squad time and institutional support to build a strong team. Ogum guided the team to qualify for the under-17 AFCON, which kicks off in April, and hopes to secure a spot at the World Cup. Now, Ogum's former club Asante Kotoko are currently 4th on the Ghana Premier League table following their win over Young Apostles. Hearts of Oak sit 3rd after a goalless draw with Brokum Chelsea, while Midiama saw their lead cut to 3 points after a draw with Samatex. Now, tonight in the English Premier League, Manchester United could move back to 4th and close the gap on Aston Villa if they beat Everton. Kickoff is at 8 p.m.
Thank you, Mubarak. Homes swallowed by the sea, fishing stopped by fear, and families pushed closer to displacement. In Ghana's Ketu South municipality, coastal communities are slowly sinking as tidal waves advance inland. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reports from Slakopa in today's Climate Evidence series.
By the time the waves retreat, there is little left to save in Salakope and nearby coastal communities in Ketu South. Homes have been destroyed, canoes lie broken, families are scattered. For many young people here, now they travel to neighboring towns just to earn a little money if they can. Not far away, Nyekwe Gali sits on the ground with a child on her lap. Even here, she says, it's not safe.
Sometimes we are cooking and the sea splashes into the fire and puts it out. A mouse even bit my hand. Sometimes all I can do is to cry.
Community leader Gideon Tete points to what used to be home.
The community from where I stand is far into the sea now. That's about 500 meters away from this place. That is where the community used to be.
Across Ghana's southeastern coast, from Keta to Adina, more than 10,000 structures have been destroyed. Experts say the sea moves inland by about 2 meters every year. Changing weather patterns is driving stronger waves and rising sea levels. But now residents say hope has returned. In July 2025, Phase 2 of the Blekusu Coastal Protection Project began. It will protect 8 kilometers of coastline, including Salakope.
I must say that I am impressed about what is going on here because I've been receiving payment certificates in the office. I've been asking myself, is the work really going on like the way these payment certificates keep coming? And I decided that today I'll pay a visit to ensure that whatever payment certificate that comes to my office will be signed. The actual work has been done. And truly, I've come to see that the work is really going on. Looking at the staff here, I think they are on track. They are even ahead of time. So I'm quite impressed with what is going on here. But still, we will encourage them. Not that I'm here encouraging them and then now they will know minister came here, so everything is fine. No.
A report by Maame Nuruddin.
This story is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with CDKN Ghana, University of Ghana Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies, with funding from Claire R4I Opportunities Fund.
3 persons have been arrested in connection with a viral video showing the brutal assault of a student at a zonal athletics competition at Sweden in the central region. We'll bring you details of a statement released by the police balance here from the DCE of Ewutu Senya West, Kalala Nyamekye.
A sad event happened on Thursday at Sweden School of Business, and 2 students were stoned on Thursday and Friday too. The video that we saw on Vera was on Friday. The nurses and the doctors at Swedro Government Hospital and Obrachwe just compound have been able to calm the situation down. So currently, as we speak, investigation is currently ongoing. When I heard the videos,
Well, the Education Ministry, while condemning the act, has directed school heads to strengthen supervision, especially during inter-school activities, and also outlined measures for school heads to comply with the safety measures and also the safety of students. Now, Hannah Odami is here with me in the studio to tell us details of that statement. Hannah.
Well, so signed by the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Dr. Patricia Otumfo, incidents of violence are considered criminal activities under Ghanaian law, and school authorities and staff are reminded of their responsibility to uphold the school safety and behavior standards. It goes on to state that individuals or organizations who are involved in the violent act will face criminal actions, and that no student will escape accountability for their actions.
Well, some required actions are expected to be immediately adhered to.
Yes,
Hannah.
there are three,
What are
Maame
they?
Esi: enhancing supervision and communication with students regarding appropriate behavior, especially at such inter-school activities. Then implementing risk assessment and violence prevention strategies, and also ensuring a safe environment for all participants in programs.
Hannah, we understand three students have also been arrested. What do we know about that?
Exactly. The GES confirmed to us on the news desk, and we will bring you that in subsequent bulletins.
Thank you, Hannah Odami. Now, the Ghana Health Service has raised concern over rising meningitis deaths, particularly in the northern region. 12 deaths have been recorded nationwide, with the Upper West region reporting 5 deaths and 34 suspected cases. The service is calling for intensified research into recurring outbreaks to help find lasting solutions. Joy News' Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
The high cost of tomato on the
Already, it has claimed the lives of 12 persons in the country in the last 7 weeks, 5 of them coming from the Upper West region. Upper West Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Joseph Anyozal, discloses at a brief meeting with Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoria, who is in the region to assess the meningitis situation in the region.
The case severity is slightly higher compared to last year because suspected cases shift. So, as we speak, do we have an outbreak in the region? The answer is no. But the numbers in terms of deaths is something that we need to be concerned about.
Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoria, though happy with the low number of cases, juxtaposing figures of same time with that of last year, he is not happy with the fatality rate, charging research institutions to delve deep into it for them to wipe it out.
The 2026 edition of the Love FM Primary Schools Quiz have been launched in Kumasi, marking the beginning of an exciting academic contest among primary schools in the Ashanti region. Now, Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Ghana Journalists Association, Kofi Edudonfe, speaking at the event, urged contestants to acquaint themselves with their Akan culture.
This year's edition of the Love FM Primary Schools Quiz, the 7th since its inception, promises to be the biggest yet, with 36 schools in the competition. The competing schools include defending champions Mater Davis School, vying for the coveted title of Best Primary School in the Ashanti region. The launch event saw contesting schools balloting for spaces, setting the stage for weeks of spirited academic rivalry. The event brought together educators, students, contestants, sponsors, and community leaders who came together to celebrate the value of education. Relationships Manager at Love FM, Maxwell Frimpong Manson, in his address at the event, acknowledged the various schools for their participation.
Have over the years experienced exciting growth as new schools keep signing up to audition to compete. We appreciate all schools that qualify after the audition to contest in this session. In the quiz, are expected to offer our audience to an exciting and intellectually stimulating show of prowess in competing. Today, as we launch the 2026 edition, we expect nothing by the best from the participating schools and pupils.
The Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Ghana Journalists Association, Kofi Edudumfe, speaking at the program, emphasized the importance of cultural literacy.
The Akan side of the contest. That's an area that some of the Montessoris and others are found wanting. But for me, being in Ashanti, you should be able to uphold your culture, and especially next month being Ghana month, I'm expecting that you will all be excelling when it comes to the use of the local language.
Well, let's do what's trending now. Adobia Asari is in the studio. Adobia.
Mami, let me ask you this. Is electricity running your home on prepaid or postpaid?
Postpaid.
Okay, and how is it going?
No. Prepaid. Sorry.
Mami. Well, so while Fatal and Bright have
my lights kept going off on the weekend.
Oh, so you're also experiencing that.
Yes.
Okay, so you know Fatal and Bright have brought us that report on the ongoing intermittent power cuts. But netizens are also reacting to what they call rapid drain of electricity credits. Now, I'll read Junior Yakubu's comments. He's sharing his plight. He says, I've bought more than 2 times the amount of electricity I buy monthly so far this month. And the month is not even over yet. What's going on? And you have a woman who has even done a whole video on X. According to her, she purchased 60 cedis worth of credit around 5 a.m. and by 7 p.m. that day it was exhausted. So it left her frustrated, and she's concerned because it's not the first time. So basically people are tagging ECG.
That ECG has increased.
Yeah, people are tagging ECG for answers, just in case they've increased something, they've not informed that. They just want to know what is going on. So that's basically what's trending.
Right, Abdubia, thank you very much. Well, we're all, really informed that, but we'll get answers from ECG subsequently. That's how we end the midday news here on Joe 99.